Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another Wednesday night at 7:30 episode of HollyWood Interviews with HollyWood Affiliate Marketing Services. Tonight we have Angela Nichols, the mama coach, and she has a lot in store for you, especially if you are a mother or a parent or even an RN that's just kind of looking for something else to do. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Angela Nichols. I'm a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for 17 years and I've always taken care of moms and babies. I've done labor and delivery, high risk pregnancies, mother baby, and OBGYN. Now I'm a mama coach.
Okay, so I guess can you explain what is a mama coach?
So, a mama coach is your own personal support person, and I support you through your pregnancy, through breastfeeding when you go home, checkups, help you getting your newborn and yourself some more sleep, um, sleep training for older kids and babies, and also toilet learning, otherwise known as potty training.
Okay, is that the new term for it? I've been associated with potty training before. I just didn't know.
So, we call it toilet learning because we want it to be a kinder, gentler, less frustrating process.
Okay, I don't know if the terminology made it any easier.
Well,
Okay,
that's our goal.
okay. So I guess what got you into being a mama coach, or is there anything else that you do, or are you full-time mama coach?
So I still work at the hospital part time, but I saw an ad for a mama coach and it said, "Would you like to use your skills in new and interesting ways?" And since the pandemic has come, I decided, yes, there are a lot of people out there who need help and in new and different ways than they've had before. There are a lot of things that are not happening right now. It's very hard for parents to find help outside of the doctor's office. And there's a lot of anxiety and stress and some mental health issues going on because people don't know where to get help from.
This is very true. I know for me, at least with the toilet learning, I would go to YouTube and just kind of freestyling and trying to figure out. But I know everybody's different, so having a coach through a situation like that definitely would be helpful. I guess are you so you are still in nursing. So I guess what got
Yes.
you I guess looking out of the industry, or how did you come across the Mama Coach program?
I saw a Facebook ad and I wasn't actually really looking for a new job, but when I saw the description of it, I said, "That's it. That's what I want to do. Um, that's me."
Okay, that's pretty cool. And then you just went after it, and next thing you know, you're a Mama Coach now.
Yes, educating my patients so they can make the best decision for themselves is what I love to do. People think we pass pain medicine and stuff all night, but we do way more than that. We are teaching all the time because people need to know what they need to know before they go home. And actually, pain medicine's about the smallest part of my job.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Um, okay, well, I guess with that then, and people being in the hospitals and things like that. And I mean, even now, we've just gotten word that there's going to be no masks and things like that. We're in the middle of a pandemic, so I guess how have
Mhm.
you guys been able to handle the pandemic? Do you do virtual training? I guess has anything changed, or how do you continue to help and be able to coach moms and parents?
So a lot of things used to have been done in a person's home right there in front of them as more like a chat or a conversation versus an educational opportunity. We still do that, but most of it is virtual, just like we're talking right now.
Hmm.
And we send a lot of the educational care plans and information via email. in the form of ebooks and their own personal care plans that we develop and personalize just for them. We do some small in-person events. For instance, I taught a sleep seminar last week at a small play area. Everybody has to wear masks. You have to sit apart. We limit the amount of people, all those kind of things.
Okay. So you guys are able to adjust then and still continue to be able to help.
Yeah, so for moms now, it's scary. They're pregnant. They're
Very.
scared to go out of the house. They have brand new babies. They don't want to take them out in public. They have little babies or toddlers who are very hard to keep clean in a public space because they touch everything. So everything can be done from the safety of their own couch at home, and they can wear their yoga pants or pajamas and just relax and have a good time and have me be their support person.
Okay, so I guess, are you taking on any of the responsibilities specifically, or are you actually coaching? Like, basically, I guess my question is, do you get in the game, or are you really on the sidelines, just kind of cheering everybody on?
So it's a little bit of both. I do we do video chats like this. In most of our programs, we would spend an hour and a half to 2 hours initially giving them all of the information they need. And I also am able to demonstrate things for them virtually that they can see what I'm doing. I can also say for a breastfeeding session, the dad could video it and I could help mom while she's actually doing the session to help her get where she needs to be. The other things are we talk on the phone, we email back and forth. We can set up another video chat if they want something else. I just don't live in an area here in DFW where I would feel comfortable personally going to somebody's house at this time. I've been vaccinated, but I don't want them to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I can definitely understand that, especially with the current situation. I think I was looking at some numbers today, and Texas is pretty bad. I think Texas alone is has potentially more cases than most countries. So
Yeah.
I can definitely understand that that could be a challenge, especially dealing with people and their children. It's their prize, joy. So I guess, how long does a typical program last? And I guess, do you stay with? So you do birth,
Prenatal
correct?
classes.
Okay, so you
Yeah,
do
so
prenatal.
I do teach prenatal classes, and we do have everybody who enters a program fill out health questionnaires so that everything is based on their own situation. We don't like to do cookie cutter or generic approaches for anybody. So different, for instance, a lactation consultation, they may need one 45-minute visit. They might want 4 or 5. And a sleep program is typically a 2-3 week process. Potty training can be a little bit longer. And then we have what we call our total mom package, which starts with the prenatal class, and they get support all the way up until the birth. Then when they go home, they get lactation help. And then at about 5 weeks, we do a postpartum newborn checkup where we check on everybody's feeding and sleeping and help get the best of those for everybody in the family.
Okay. So let's say that this is not a first-time parent, it's not their first rodeo, but they just need a little bit of assistance. And then you also have maybe a brand new parent who has no idea what they're doing, or maybe they're afraid, or whatever the case is. Are there different levels of support, or I guess do you have to adjust ever, or is there different levels or tiers of
Yeah,
packages that you
so
provide?
well, it's the same package, but the support I provide is different.
Okay,
Um, Even a second time parent is going to have questions. Um,
definitely.
every baby's not the same, so different issues are going to come up that you may not have had before. But that's why we ask them lots of personal questions and medical questions and things so that we make sure everything is personalized for them. I don't things that they are pretty versed on, I don't need to spend a lot of time on. Whereas if mom, say, for instance, has gestational diabetes this time and she didn't last time, then we can spend a lot of time talking about that and what that's going to mean for her, what that's going to mean for her newborn, and what that's going to, how that will affect her labor and postpartum time.
Okay. Well, I did hear you say, I guess, like a medical term and things like that. So I guess by any chance, do you also provide prescriptions or no?
No, I'm not a nurse practitioner. I don't write prescriptions.
Okay.
Um, we do, I can help with some mild, say, breathing exercises for anxiety or meditations, things like that. But I also have referrals
Nice.
to
Okay.
healthcare professionals who specialize in perinatal mood disorders, which people would probably know as anxiety or depression that is anywhere before or after the birth of the baby. But as for those types of prescription things, they would have to go to either their primary care doctor or their OBGYN or their midwife, whoever they go to for those types of things.
Mhm. Okay. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, this is something completely unique to me. There's a lot of programs out there that deal with like behavioral therapy, deal with many different things, but I have not personally heard of a program like this one where you're actually like coaching a mother through kind of parenting, or not even just a mother, but parents, period, through parenting. So I guess
Mhm.
would you say this is a pretty unique program, or if there are other programs out there, what makes yours unique?
As far as I know, there is not any other programs in North America that do what mama coaches do. Some people are sleep coaches and they only focus on sleep, whereas we focus on feeding and sleep and developmental milestones and many, many things to get the baby to sleep better and the parents as well. In the fact that we do everything from prenatal classes to newborn care to sleep training for toddlers to potty training. We build a relationship with people from before their baby comes all the way until they're about ready to go to kindergarten. And that lets them know that they have someone that they can trust, that is up to date on all of the current healthcare guidelines, and that somebody that's not just going based on opinion or some kind of non-medical training.
Okay. That sounds good. So I guess can you expound a little bit more on why it's a benefit of being able to have um, an all-inclusive program? I know, when we were talking earlier that you were kind of telling me, for instance, sleeping. If you're just only a sleep coach, then you're not focusing on something that could be actually, preventing it. So the fact that you can encompass everything. So I guess could you expound a little bit more, I guess, from a professional standpoint on why that's important?
So, for instance, our new toilet learning program, um, we have a list of signs that the child is ready to start potty training. And so, for instance, one of those signs has to be that they're sleeping well and all of their basic needs are being met. Because when you're tired, you can't learn something new. And someone who's 2.5 who doesn't have any patience whatsoever is not going to be ready to learn if they're not sleeping well. So we would help them to get the child sleeping well. The other thing is diet. They have to be eating well and they can't be constipated, because if going to the bathroom hurts, it's definitely not going to be something they're willing to learn to do. So
Mhm.
that's why we look at their whole lifestyle and their environment and the kiddo's personality and everything before we're even wanting parents to start. And
I
that's how
can
we
definitely attest to that.
reduce the frustration and anxiety for everybody.
Yeah, no, I can definitely attest to that. I mean, especially if a child has, issues going to the restroom or something like that, they usually have feeding issues, or that constipation or whatever the case is could then cause lack of sleep, also lack of concentration and other things that may seem, disabling. So the fact that you're there to actually be able to encompass the entire process to me is very good, and I can also see a huge benefit in that because I think that personally, you can go to the doctor, they can prescribe you, some kind of prescription medicine, but they're only focusing on one issue, and that one issue is not necessarily fixing the root of the problem. You're just kind of taming it. So with you being able to assess and try to fix what the root is, especially being there from the prenatal experience all the way up until kindergarten, I think is pretty tremendous. And then also just coming in towards, like, even if you came in at the middle, knowing that you are not just coming in at one aspect is definitely beneficial. So I guess, is there any program that you recommend to someone who maybe um, is coming into the program with a 1-year-old versus
So,
being pregnant now?
so for a 1-year-old, we would have this mostly sleep program, just getting them sleeping. And the goal of the child's sleep is the parent's goal. So, whatever mom's goal is, we help her to reach it in whatever way we can. So, for instance, if she wants the child to be sleeping in his own bed in the same room as her, and only waking up to feed once a night, or not feeding at all because the baby might be old enough that doesn't need to eat all the time. Whatever her goal is, we work with them to get that, get there for her. And her goal's probably not the same as someone else's. Someone else may want their kid to sleep in his own bed in his own room. And whatever is what they want is what we try to do. So if it's not a problem for the parents, then it's not a problem to me either. And so some people may still want their child to sleep in the same bed as them, or the same room as them, or their own bed. And those are all fine and good, and we'll do what we can to get there.
Okay, so I guess, are there ever unrealistic expectations? So maybe the mom and the dad are torn on the sleeping or the eating or something like that, and then you have to give like a professional advice or suggestion on that, or even,
So,
conflict within whatever
so,
you're trying to promote.
so for instance, a 5-week-old baby is not going to sleep through the night, is not going to sleep all night long without any feedings. It's just not realistic. Those tiny babies need to eat to grow. They also need to sleep to grow. So we would have to talk about, if that was mom's goal for baby to sleep through the night and not eat at all at night, we would have to talk about the fact that the baby's not developmentally old enough for that goal. And we could get to that goal in time, but we have to be realistic in what we ask the baby to do, and it has to be fair to the baby. So we teach people that sleep is relative also to age, and we will help them get the best sleep that they can for the age and development that their baby is in.
I don't think I've ever mastered the art of sleep.
That's the thing. So people who don't develop good sleep hygiene as babies or toddlers or even young kids usually don't outgrow it.
Oh, well,
They usually end up having bad sleep habits for the rest of their life.
I think my mom is probably watching, and it's true. I don't sleep, and she begs me to sleep all the time. I just can't. Um, okay, so I guess, like, what do you consider to be the best benefit of the program?
That we we're there to support them in any way that they want or need. And if I don't know something, if we try a few things and that's not what's helping, then I have 60 more mama coaches across North America to help me out, and we all pool our collective experience together.
You said 60?
There's more than 60 of us.
Oh, wow. So I
Mhm.
guess that I guess that raises I mean, are they hiring? I mean, I'm not a nurse, but just in case there are any nurses out there watching, that are looking for
Yes,
an
so we do trainings and hiring a couple of times a year. Um, there's several Facebook ads that you can probably see right now from the Mama Coach. You can go to the mamacoach.ca and there's a section for nurses. Um, there's lots of areas across the United States who could really um, find a new way to use their services.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. I guess, maybe after this, we can get some kind of contact information or a website for the nurses out there that are looking for a different opportunity or wanna be able to be a mama coach also. We can, help them out. Looks like we have a question or a statement. It says from the audience, it says, "Please also address the importance of setting a routine for children at this age, so when they enter school, those things will already be in place." It sounds like it comes from a teacher.
Possibly. So that is something that we addressed. Even tiny babies can learn what a routine is. So we have a specific routine that we do when they're young to sleep, eat, play, eat, sleep. And then during bedtime, that's something different because it's the only part of their day that something different's going to go on besides eat, sleep, play. So we encourage, that's funny.
It was a teacher.
We encourage a routine and whatever the parents want that routine to be, whether it's feeding and then a bath and then a book and then putting in the sleep sack and putting to bed, or whether it's a song or if they want to do just a sponge bath, we encourage them to do the same things on a routine basis. And that also does help. They'll start learning what the routine is. And at one point, when they actually do figure out what the routine is, they'll start fussing a little bit when they figure out it's bath time, because then they know bed comes next. And they're very nosy, fear of missing out. So
I know.
you figure out that bedtime's coming next, and sometimes they will start to fuss a bit about that. So we encourage them, even when we're talking about toilet learning, to have a routine and to go with it so that things are easier and the children learn what to do.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and it's also easier on the parent if the child knows that there's a routine or, when you come in, you do this or whatever the case is, you do that. It's easier because you don't have to scramble all over the place where it's different this day and different the next day. That just makes everybody
Mhm.
just kind of chaotic. So it's definitely
Well,
good.
and children don't learn well when they don't know what's coming. If everything is a surprise and they have to get over the sticker shock of what just happened, it
Hmm.
takes them longer to learn. So if they know what to do, it's very helpful. And the same thing with school age, you still want to keep the routine. You don't want to put them to bed at 8 one night and 10 o'clock one night. That's not really fair to ask them to
Yeah.
go to school and learn something when they don't have a consistent routine.
No, that's very true. I think that it's not fair on the child also. I mean, it's not fair on really anybody when you're inconsistent because, um, lack of consistency is going to lead to chaos with anybody. And not to say that there's never a time for, an element of surprise, but when it's, day to day, you're just kind of on the limb, just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. That's not fair to anybody, and it's not fair to, I guess, in my opinion, uphold um or force somebody to uphold a standard that you're not upholding on a regular basis. Like you can't eat candy every day, you know, for 3 days or 4 days, and then it's like, hey, no more candy. You got to kind of set some kind of consistency for them, and it just makes life easier. So I guess that leads me to another question then, because I'm sure it's difficult sometimes, and if there are any parents out there, for those who are concerned with like certifications and have requirements and things like that, what are the requirements to be a mama coach, or are there certain criteria that needs to be met?
So first of all, we have to maintain our nursing licenses, and we every 2 years when we reapply for a license, we have to have so many credit hours of continuing education that apply to our area of practice. The second thing is to be a mama coach. There is a very long educational and mentorship process that we go through. We don't just do a few online modules and they throw us out there. We spend a lot of time with our mentors and talking about things and going over education for at least a 3-month period. Plus, then we also have the support of the mama coaches. Anytime we have a question or something might be something I haven't experienced before or something that's more of a complicated process than I can handle by myself. We have all those things to back each other up. And we do also every week or 2 weeks or so, we do different webinars and we talk about different topics. And we also write educational articles for our websites. And we read each other's articles and learn something new every day. And we encourage our clients to read those. And we like to share lots of free information on our websites and Facebook and Instagram. And for instance, we have a conference coming up on Saturday, the You Got This Mama Conference by the Mom Coach. We are doing an entire day of free education for moms, all the way from trying to get pregnant to internet safety for older kids. I'm actually presenting a breakout session on hand expressing milk before the baby's even born, so you have a little bit extra. And so I did a lot of research and education for myself in order to host that breakout session. So it's just always a continuing learning process.
That's pretty amazing, and it's also, I guess, relieving too. For you don't want to go into your doctor's office and think that you got your life in somebody else's hands, or your child or whoever, and then think this guy just kind of came up off the street and decided to just kind of put his opinion out there on you. So that's definitely good to know.
In the
Um,
healthcare world right now, you can't be stagnant. Too many things change all the time. You have to keep up.
so you did mention that there's recertification, correct? Or like a continual learning process.
So every 2 years, the United States makes us renew our nursing licenses, and we have to have a certain number of credit hours of continuing education that in order for them to know that you are up to date and relevant in the area that you work in.
Okay, that's good to know. So it looks like we have a comment from the audience. It says, "I work with children with issues. They most definitely thrive off routine. It's essential for their stability." I would
Yes.
100% agree with Carolyn.
Yes, it's very important, and even um, some children are so ingrained in their routine that because of different developmental situations that they can't vary from their routine because they need it so much.
Yeah, especially if they have any. Well, I guess it just kind of leads me to think, do you also work with children who have disabilities, or parents who have children who have disabilities?
So, as mama coaches, we are actually delving into that. Some of us have worked with some children on potty training and sleeping, and we're wanting to start expanding on that as a group. And we would never, if somebody wanted our help and we were sure we could help them, we would never turn them away. But it would be a learning curve for us to find the best way. Every child's personality is different, and so we would have to really take that and their medical issues into consideration to find the best, most personal way to help them.
Yeah. No, that's definitely good because I would imagine a new parent or a parent with a child that has a challenge, maybe mental or whatever the case may be, would definitely appreciate the assistance or an extra hand or a coach, just to keep them either motivated or just kind of guide them in the right direction. Although it's a challenge for everybody, I just it's good to know that you guys are there to actually lend a helping hand.
Yes, we try and meet everybody where they're at, whatever their situation is. We try and start from there and go up.
Okay. So with I guess that kind of situation, do you ever run into a parent that may be in denial about something or that disagrees with something that you guys are suggesting to do as a coach? And how do you deal with that?
Well, a lot of it is education. Some people may have a goal and they may not quite know why. And so we want to talk about their child and their situation and what a realistic goal might be. And for instance, our sleep program is not a cry it out program. We don't um, recommend parents just leave their babies in the crib to cry for hours and hours because that's not going to help them go to sleep. Um, but for instance, if a parent has the idea that their child may never cry, that's not actually very realistic. It's just like winding yourself down for bed. You might get a drink of water, you might brush your teeth, you might sit down and read a book for a minute or watch a few minutes of TV before you fall asleep. You can't just get up and walk and plop in the bed and go directly to sleep. There's some winding down time there. And so babies do fuss for between 5 and 10 minutes or so before they fall asleep. And that's just their self consolation and winding down. If
I just do it for
actually
an
the
hour.
baby if actually the baby gets in the bed and falls immediately asleep, that means they were overtired. And what's going to happen in a few minutes or a few hours is they're going to wake up again or they're going to refuse to go to sleep, or they're going to have a really poor sleep all night and they're going to wake up cranky. And then if a baby's crying for more than 10 minutes, maybe they weren't quite tired enough when you put them in the bed. And so maybe they need a few more minutes to just, read a book again and just calm down before they're ready to go to sleep.
Yeah, and if anybody out there doesn't know, it is no fun dealing with a cranky baby. Nothing that you can say or do, they just keep going, and it's so it's best to get you a mama coach. All right, so I
That's
guess
what we
how
like
do you
to
track?
do.
Yeah, so how do you measure progress with with the different programs? And I guess could you reiterate just for anybody who's back or new right now what programs you have, and then how do you measure the progress?
So we have prenatal classes. We teach classes for breastfeeding during pregnancy to get your breastfeeding journey started. We do lactation services after you go home. We do sleep training for babies and toddlers. We do 5-week checkups on moms and babies to start teaching the baby good sleep habits. And we also do toilet learning. So measuring progress would be something that's highly personal and individualized for the family. If mom wants baby to sleep in their own bed, but still in the parent's room, and maybe only wake up once to feed or not wake up at all, and then we get there, or maybe they revise their goal and say, okay, well, the baby's sleeping in this bed, but we'd like them to sleep in their bed in their own room now, then we would change and work on that. It's progress when the parents feel like it's been progress.
Okay. So I guess do you set any personal goals when you are I guess dealing with a parent or you have somebody that's a client?
So my goal is for them to be happy and meet their goals, because I'm the vehicle, but I'm not the
Okay. You're
the
not in
parents.
control. Yeah,
Yeah, the parents are the ones who are going to implement the plan and follow through and ask questions and stuff. I'm here to show them how they get there, but the goal isn't actually mine, it's theirs.
this is true. So it looks like we have a question from the audience again. It says, so from Nicole Zinc Fence Pearson. So how do you get the baby to sleep? That's a good question.
So, our sleep program is an entire assessment of their whole lifestyle. So, we look at the baby's age, we look at their developmental milestones, we look at their feedings, we look at their sleep environment, we talk about the baby's temperament, we look at the parents' goals, what exactly they want to happen. Um, and then we spend a lot of time. uh, I create a personalized plan. It's many pages long. It usually takes us about 2 hours during a video chat like this to go over it. They get 2
2 hours?
weeks of email support and also 4 follow-up phone calls. And I stay in touch with them all the time. And we make little adjustments depending on the baby's personality and the parents' wishes and goals.
Okay. So, okay, that sounds good to me. And I guess so I have a couple questions left unless there's any questions from the audience. But I guess this next one, um, I'm kind of already, talked to you about it a little bit, but I guess could you go a little bit in depth as to maybe what it is as well as what you do to try to help? And I know, um, I guess it's kind of touchy since you're dealing with a parent or a mother, really, or really any of the parents, but a mother from any time up and during pregnancy all the way up until kindergarten. If a mother has postpartum challenges, um, do like for instance depression, what resources do you provide? And I guess can you expound on kind of what that looks like for the whole
So
family?
I, yes, I can start off with some simple things. First of all, talking, seeing how she feels. I do a little bit of assessing on how severe I think the issue is. And we go over breathing exercises, which are a really helpful tool for everybody to have for their
Mm.
whole life. I have a 13-year-old son, and I do a lot of breathing exercises.
Believe it or not, I did some breathing exercises before this interview.
um, and I also have a sassy 8-year-old girl, and we do a lot of breathing exercises
Oh.
about her. And then things like meditation, singing, talking about intrusive thoughts, things that your brain gets a hold of and can't let go of. For instance, a feeling like somebody in your family is going to get hurt. You don't know exactly how and you don't know why, but you just can't let go of that feeling. And we want to talk about those thoughts and talk and label them. This is an intrusive thought. It's just a thought. My thoughts aren't real actions, and my thoughts can't hurt me. And
That'd be
then
my big thing.
if we need to move on, then I have a list of resources of counselors who are certified in perinatal mood disorders, otherwise known as pregnancy related depression and anxiety to postpartum depression and anxiety. And that can even be diagnosed up to a year after the baby's born. So I have professional resources that are specialized in that area just for moms.
I guess not to give away any free information, because I understand this is a business. But I guess what kind of things would you suggest for a mother with that type of I guess challenge to do? Like, how would you guide them through that or coach?
So some things people don't realize that asking for help validates your worthiness. As mothers, a lot of us think we have to do everything ourselves and we have to be the best at it. And you have to ask for help. You can't do everything. The world wouldn't run with just one person in it. Everybody has to help out, and you have to figure out who your village is and who you can ask for help with different situations. And I like to tell them, when you ask for help, you are validating your worthiness. And you have to let people do other things to help you. And you also have to realize that they might do it better than you. And guess what? That's okay. Parenting involves more than one person.
Takes a village.
Whether it involves lots of people. And so you have to realize that there is a limit to our abilities as mothers. We are not inhuman. And it's okay to not be okay all the time. It's okay to ask for help. And in fact, you will probably be a better parent for it. You will be happier. You will have more time to enjoy your new baby. You will have time to take care of yourself. Self-care is healthcare. You've got to take care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. So things like eating and showering and having a few minutes alone and those kinds of things, those are not luxuries. Those are basic needs that every human needs.
Preach,
And
Angela.
so you've really got to let people help you, and they might not do it the way you do it, but that's okay, because all that matters is that it gets done. There is nothing in this world that is perfect. And looking for perfection as a parent is going to greatly disappoint you.
Hmm. It looks like we have a comment here from Tara Lynn again, and it says, your services must be a huge comfort to new or struggling mothers by offering personalized assistance with their challenges, as opposed to having to do their own research, turn to other professionals who may lack expertise and empathy that you provide. I would
Thank
definitely
you.
say that for sure, and it's good to also see that you know, it's personalized. Everything is not just because, even with anything that deals with parenting or people, period. I think that, therapy, whatever it is, everybody is different. I think you used the example earlier where you got different flowers. They all start from a seed, but as they grow, this one takes more water, that one needs more light, this one needs less light, this one needs, shade or whatever the case, or you need to
Mhm.
talk to this plant, whatever it is. And there's no one solution for each person. And
That's
with it
correct.
being personalized, for each situation as well as each person, it definitely is. I guess it serves as a testimony and a huge relief to somebody, not knowing that it's not just, all right, let me just check this off, check that off, check this off, because it's not going to work like that for people.
hmm And our motto as mama coaches is actually making motherhood easier with empathy and no judgment.
Oh,
That's our actual motto. So
well, that's wonderful.
I'm
All right, so I
glad that
guess.
people are able to see that.
Oh no, trust me, I see it. I seen it from the moment you were talking about what do you call it? Toilet learning.
You'll learn sometime.
So something I'm not 100% I guess, what is it, comfortable with, that I don't know much about, and we haven't really expounded on it, but I know it's one of your skills. I guess, can you talk about the lactation, or what exactly is that
Breastfeeding.
process of your, yes, yeah, what is it that you're helping with during that time?
So we can actually help moms start breastfeeding when they're pregnant. And it's not actually breastfeeding, it's collecting milk. But a lot of moms' biggest worries who are wanting to breastfeed is that it won't work. They won't be able to do it. They won't have enough. And we want them to know that you are exactly what your baby needs. And so if we start them off showing them how to collect their milk, and they can bring it with them to the birth. So if their baby needs a little bit of supplementation for some kind of medical issue, or mom just wants the baby to have extra to help ease her worry, they can collect that and bring it with them to the birth. And so we have a class starting then. But then when they go home, if they're having troubles, if baby is colicky, mom feels like baby's not getting enough, the pediatrician says maybe baby's not gaining weight, if it's just a painful experience, if they feel like they're about to give up, we can help them. We do 45-minute live sessions just like this, where we would usually a support person would hold the camera and help me see exactly what's going on during the feeding and help her correct it right then and there so she knows what to do. And then lactation is also, or feeding in general, is also part of our sleep plans, because babies need to, you can't be hungry and sleep. So it's all works together.
Yeah. So, okay. So, I mean, well, we'll ask this question first, and then I have another one about what you're just talking about. So, Nicole's asking, do you encourage using formula?
What our belief is that fed is best. You can't, if you don't want to breastfeed, that's fine. It's your baby, it's your choice. I'm not going home with you or your baby. So we encourage you to feed your baby in whatever way makes you feel comfortable. The other thing is that you cannot sacrifice your mental or physical health to breastfeed. Um, it's it's not worth it if it's damaging to you. And if it's damaging to you, then you're not enjoying your baby. In fact, my own personal experience was that um, I have a lot of health issues that prevented me from making enough milk, and I was trying and trying and trying. And I would look at the baby and go, "Oh man, it's time for you to eat again. Do we really have to do this again?" And then I would get upset when it didn't go well. And so eventually I said, I only have a few weeks until I go back to work, and I want to enjoy my baby. And so we're going to stop this. And we switched to formula, and I was happy with my baby. You
That's
can
wonderful,
only
though. I
do
mean,
your
just like I
best.
said, your coaching would allow somebody to know what's best and when it's time to switch.
Well, that's ultimately up to them. I would never tell somebody to do something they didn't want to do. But if they're feeling that way, I don't mind giving them permission to follow their feelings.
All right. So we had, I guess, somebody making fun of me and kind of just talking about, my apparently
Thank
my
you,
face must have looked a certain
Carolyn.
way trying to learn about lactation. Yeah, forgive me, I don't know too much about lactation or lactating. I know it's a hot topic, and it's like it's one of those, I guess, what is it? You want to be politically correct, and it's a movement that where mothers can, freely. I mean, personally, I don't have anything against it. Do what you need to do to take care of your child. If I was a baby, I'm not gonna care who's watching. So, you know, it's go ahead. So I was just wondering and curious, what is it that is actually being offered as far as that's concerned? I had no idea that you could actually, I guess, show up to the hospital with the milk and it'd
And
be,
until I started this job, I didn't either. But when I heard about it, I was like, that's it. That's my thing. That is my passion. That's what I want to teach people, especially in my area. We have a lot of people of color and people of underprivileged means, and their babies are at the highest risk for needing supplementation and different health issues. And so I want that to spread like wildfire here in this area. I want as many moms as want to show up with their little, case of breast milk when they come.
I had no idea, but hopefully that we are educating a lot of mothers out there. If anybody out there is, now carrying a child, you can bring the milk to the hospital. So that's definitely news to me, but that's pretty cool. So I guess then it says, so what schedule do you all have, and how many days of the week are you available? Because I know you're also a
So
nurse, so how
yes,
do you
I do
balance that?
work overnight. I do work overnight at the hospital several nights a week. So my availability is different. There are different days of the week, but I have availability morning, afternoons, evenings, and weekends. And we can find a time that is convenient for you. Um, I had a mom schedule a prenatal class with me, and she wanted 10 a.m. on a Thursday and 10 a.m. on a Saturday. So that's what we're doing, because that's when her support person can be there for her and attend the class too.
Okay. And I'm sure for the moms that are out there watching, or the dads or whoever, if the burning question is probably how much does this program cost, or what is the range depending on, you know, maybe this area versus that area.
So lactation visits are 49, I believe they're $49 for a 45-minute session. But then our prenatal class is $250. If a mom has another friend who's pregnant and would like to invite her to share the class with her, then they would both get the class for $150. Our sleep
Oh, great deal.
plans, our sleep plans start at $400. Our toilet learning plans start at $249, and that is for the care plan and to go over the care plan. But if they want further assistance in implementing it, if they don't feel like they can just do it and implement it themselves, then there's extra support choices available. And then for our total mom package, that includes the breastfeeding class, the prenatal class, breastfeeding after they go home, and a 5-week checkup for feedings and sleep. That one is $600. Also, I can take HSA and FSA cards if people have those funds through their insurance.
Well, that's amazing. I'm like, literally, that's amazing. So it's considered. So you can get the program through insurance then, or through an insurance plan, or some form of
Yes,
I
so
guess.
they can, their debit card that they have that is for healthcare spending. So that's what it is, healthcare spending account, HSA. They can use that towards my services because I bill for nursing services. But I don't actually file with their insurance. It's really, there's a lot of hoops to jump through for me to become a provider with your insurance. And even then they won't want to cover most of the services that I offer. So it's easier for me and mom if I charge them for nursing services and they use their card. Otherwise, it's just a personal payment with their credit or debit card.
Yeah, I mean, but that's still a huge benefit. So I'm not really familiar with this term either, but it says, would you consider your services similar to that of a doula or a doula?
Doula.
Doula? Okay, first time. Okay.
Yes and no. So I don't have anything against doulas. They're wonderful people. They're awesome in supporting their clients. We have them come to help people with their birth. A lot of them will go help with different types of things after the baby's born. Some of them will stay the night at your house and help you with night care for your baby, different things like that. The difference between a doula and myself is that I have a nursing license, and I am obligated to give you a certain level of care, and I have to follow certain guidelines that are determined by the different governing bodies that regulate nurses in the United States.
Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Doulas sound like great people, but they're not
They
a mama
are.
coach. But they're not a mama coach. So get you a mama coach.
We're a
Pricing
little
is
bit
great. If you
different.
come with a group, you get a discount.
Yes.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess I'll leave this open to the audience for the next minute or so. But if there are no questions that come in, I would like to thank you for coming. And lastly, if there are no other questions, how can someone who is interested in your program get in touch with you?
So I have every form of social media you can think of except for Twitter. I have Facebook is the Mama Coach Angela Nichols. I have Instagram at the Mama Coach Angela Nichols. My email is running on the banner on the bottom of the screen, Angela Coach at the mamacoach.us. I also have a link tree, which is also the Mama Coach Angela Nichols, I believe. It's listed in the post, the original post for this session.
And I was gonna ask you if after this you could leave that information in the comments below in
Sure.
the description or whatever. And then once again, as a member of the group, could you also continue to post it, because there are people that weren't able to see it tonight. Maybe they were lactating, or maybe they're dealing with some kind of potty issue, or as we now know, we call it toilet learning. So maybe they're unable to be here tonight, so they can actually go back and watch this and get more information about it. So please do leave the ways that people can contact you and sign up for the program below also.
Okay, no problem.
But
Thank
I
you for
don't see
having
any
me.
questions coming. Yeah, no problem at all. So
And
I
thank
don't
you
see
for the people
anybody.
who asked.
Right. And like I said, I appreciate you coming, because I know that you definitely have a busy schedule as well. I don't know when you sleep either. So just know that she's definitely
It's
putting in a lot of
complicated.
hard work. Yeah, I believe it. But she's made time to be here tonight to try to introduce herself and her program, provide value back to other members and to the world. So definitely would like to thank you for all of your services as a nurse and a mama coach, and hope that you have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Nicholas. This was fun.
No problem. Thank you.
Good night.